Once upon a time, in the 1960s, there was a family from the UK formed by a young couple with their two little children. Jackson, the father, was a serious and professional lawyer, while Martina, the mother, was the one that stayed at home, taking care of Michael, the little boy with 7 years old, and of Jessica, the older sister with 10 years old, who had a disease that anyone had, called astrophilitis. Jessica was getting worse, yet there wasn't a cure. Her parents invested a lot of money in treatments, but after a month, they began to have economic issues, and Jessica died. The family decided to move to the United States, to Texas, for they were really sad and they wanted a new and better life. As they didn't have enough money, they accepted an offer of a cheaper house sold by a weird old woman with no name that no one really knew. Everything was going well, but there was something they didn't know. The house was built beside an old cemetery. Everyone was getting over the pain of Jessica's death, except his little brother, Michael. One day at 12 a.m., Michael woke up and began to feel dizzy and sick, and there was something that took him aback, which was that he began to see black cats around his room. He didn't tell anything to his parents, but every night at the same hour, he woke up feeling sick and seeing a lot of black cats around his room. And the next night, he didn't remember what happened the night before. A secret he didn't know was that the spirit was trying to wash his brain for making easy the possession and the murder of the little kid. One of those scary nights, the child began to hear voices that told him,
"Go to the yard. I can see you. Do you want to play hide and seek with me? Oh. I miss you. I'm your sister. Or I know where is your sister. Come with me."
These voices didn't make sense to him, and he thought it was just a bad dream, until he saw the shadow of a girl. He told his parents that her sister was there with them, that she wasn't dead. When his parents heard all of this, they didn't know what to make of him, so they took Michael to the hospital. In the hospital, the doctors took Jackson and Martina through the idea that Michael was saying those things because he was crazy and traumatized due to the death of his sister. So he needed to go to an intern school for 2 years, and he needed to take a special medicine. He went to the intern school, and it was very difficult for his family, for they thought they had lost their 2 children. His mother passed the time crying. She fell into depression, while his father was getting sick because of the stress he was feeling. Jackson and Martina dreamed every night with Jessica, and in all the dreams in which she appeared, she said,
"He's not crazy. He's not crazy. He's not crazy. And please believe him, or everyone is going to die."
They were worried. So they went with a psychologist called Marcus, who told them that it was normal and that Jessica was just trying to call their attention for making sure that they were not going to forget her. Everything was getting so difficult. Michael felt that he was alone and that he didn't make part of that intern school. His pain was increasing over the time. That was what the spirit was trying to do. He was trying to enter into Michael's body through the pain he was feeling. The spirit did this kind of things because when he was alive, he suffered a lot of pain. So he wanted to show the humanity what it feels to have a lot of pain. He wanted revenge. One day, at the evening, Michael went to play at the park of the school, and he felt that someone was looking at him. So he began to run, when suddenly he crashed with a tree, and he noticed a weird and dark hole. So Michael was looking at it very concentrated. Instantaneously, something pushed him into the hole. The little boy tried to scream, but he couldn't. He began to feel pressure in all his body, and in a moment, he saw a lot of dead bodies. He was getting crazy, for real. This time, all of a sudden, he saw the dead body of her sister, and he was really confused because he thought that she was buried in the UK. Michael heard a voice laughing and saying,
I killed your sister with that disease.
And his first reaction was getting into crying. This little boy understood everything in just one moment, and he used his intelligence for making a plan and getting away from that terrible place, so he could save his family. The spirit didn't know that the boy was still alive. He believed that Michael was dead, so he went with the mission of killing the rest of the family. The boy gathered his strength and began to climb the dead bodies until he saw the light again. He ran and ran, but as he didn't know where he was, he got lost in a forest. Michael passed 3 days in there with no direction, being cold, with no food, and with any love. Finally, an old woman offered help, and the child accepted. But she had a peculiar aspect. She was not normal. The child stayed in there for 4 days. Each day, he noticed that the woman went out to the woods, and when she came back, she brought a bag full of something strange. The child, with his innocence, thought it was a bag full of the meat of the animals that was cooked for their meals. He didn't know that the woman was possessed by the spirit. One night, when he was getting along with the old woman, and he won her trust, he made up a plan. Michael went downstairs, where the bag was hid. He opened the bag, and there was a disgusting, weird smell. The little kid saw that the bag was full of human organs. He was very scared, and he began to run to the forest. The old woman woke up, and she chased Michael, screaming,
I am going to get rid of you right now. Come here.
In a moment, Michael was really tired, and the spirit reached him. Michael was possessed. The spirit guided Michael to his house, but not for a good cause. When he arrived, his family was very happy for seeing him because they thought they gave Michael the permission of going out of the intern school because he recovered. But they were wrong. The child was acting really weird. The first night at home, he screamed,
Mother, come please.
When Martina went for seeing what was happening, she didn't saw him. And all of a sudden, Michael buried the kitchen's knife in Martina's back until she was lying dead in the floor. Jackson went and saw everything. They didn't know what happened because Michael wasn't there. The next day, everyone was talking about Martina's case, and the police was searching for clues. His dad was really sick, and he fell asleep. His own son went upstairs and put a plastic bag in Jackson's head. Jackson stayed without air, and he died. Michael, or in reality the spirit, accomplished his mission, but he needed to kill Michael for being able of getting out of his body. He went to the roof and jumped from there, arriving dead to the ground. The spirit took all the dead bodies to the dark hole, and he went in the search of another family with pain. Whenever you feel pain, or whenever your family is suffering, the spirit watches at you every day.
Be careful.